When we discovered that they had an archive, a room, and a curator, and they had kept all of their advertising materials over all these years. Can you imagine?
You work in the startup space quite often where you're close to the founder and you're close to the origin point. How does that change when you're 90 odd years away from that origin point, and there's so many layers of history that you can't, it doesn't make any sense to wipe them away and start fresh. Like how do you approach something like that, which is so different to an RX bar when you're hearing it from the creator's mouth?
Everyone involved in that project entered into it with bravery and confidence, frankly. There was a new CMO. He was brand new to Red Wing and was just making observations. He did a little road show in Chicago and looked at a lot of different agencies of all sizes, including Victor and me. And we got invited to do the project. But we just have to be confident in what our offering is. We're not going to try to be like a big agency. We're Scott and Victor, and this is what we do.
Mm.
And they were attracted to it. Just like the CMO, who bravely went to Red Wing and said, this is what I see, and this is what I don't like. And I just don't think this is helping the brand. This is where the confidence comes in. We have to be confident in knowing that there will be a salient idea that emerges from all of this. We don't have to have that idea going in. We don't have to have any objective going in whatsoever except to observe. And you just have to be confident that, your skills as a thinker and conceptualist and a strategist will always be there, and they'll emerge at the right time. And so we really just went in with eyes wide open, observed everything, saw the things they were doing, and just opportunities that were there for them, and went back and applied the exact same skills and the exact same processes that we do for a startup. We started interviewing, we started talking to Red Wing wearers and users of all kinds, mostly in the labor trades because that's where their bread and butter is. Learning all about their history and absorbing it. When we discovered that they had an archive, a room, and a curator, and they had kept all of their advertising materials over all these years. Can you imagine some of the things
The joy.
from 1910 and from 1920 and from 1930? How can we, what are the ties here? What are the themes that have always been here? What have they always been dedicated to? Where have they never wavered, despite the weird tacky flourishes of the 70s? The sort of like blunt, in your face, sort of you're a workhorse and here's your work boot kind of attitude from the early teens and stuff. What are those central themes? What have they always stuck by? It also helped that, the new CMO had come in and had worked with his team to develop a purpose statement. They'd never had one before. They'd never really established their purpose. And that was really a helpful guide for us to know where they were coming from and where their hearts were. And it really did inform everything that we do. They wanted to modernize the look and feel. They wanted to appeal more to the newer generations entering the labor trades. They were solid with 50 years old and up, so, forever. And hipsters, like yourself, I hear, who wanted to adopt that look. That was a real intersection for us in determining what this brand should be, going forward, or what it should remain to be going forward. And that was work based. Their purpose statement is to build a legacy of work done right, and that was built on an observation of what the company had always done. So even they themselves didn't come in to make shit up. They just defined what was already there and focused on it. and that helped us immensely.